by your side. So never let me be. I only wanna be by your side. You got me now. So I'm looking what I'm doing. You really got me. You really got me. Well, welcome. Wow, what a night we have tonight. As you can imagine, what we're going to do and what we're going to discuss tonight are robotics. We are high atop Chapel Hill, Studio 720, home of rock and roll, home of technology and business innovation. And so here we have Lynx, the robot. Alexa, what time is it? Do you know? Alexa, what time is it? She went to sleep. But basically, what we're going to do today is look at robotics and look at sort of how they're changing the world. This is technology number 7. And this is a technology that is absolutely revolutionizing a lot of manufacturing and, of course, giving rise to robotics that are more human-like. And again, this is an advanced version of an Alexa application. And what it will do is walk the house, dance. It will do several different things. And it is a mobile version of what you normally find in the Alexa app. So it's really an awesome technology in terms of what robotics are, what robotics can do. And now they are entering the home. And as you can see, they can rock and roll with you. They can dance with you and be a lot of fun. So that's what we're going to talk about today. To give you an overview, technology in robotics is something that has been around for a long time. Again, when I was going through undergraduate school and some graduate school, programming robots was one of the things that I did to make a little extra money in between semesters on spring and summer breaks. And my father was an electrical engineer, and we would program robotics in DuPont, where he worked, using relay language. And what's really interesting from now versus then is really the agility of the robots, the precision of the robots, and I think the amount of intelligence that can be programmed into robots. So what I want to do tonight is give you an overview of how robotics is changing, how robotics is evolving, how they're evolving. A couple of great places to look if you're looking for advanced companies in robotics. Boston Dynamics is an incredible company that is pioneering the art of robotics, and along with them, the Robotics Research Institute in South Korea is certainly one, and one you're going to see tonight that is amazing is KUKA out of Japan, out of Tokyo, that are building incredible robotics. So let's take a little quick tour around and see the world of robotics. Now, again, robotics is combining with other technologies, mesh networking, pervasive computing. It's certainly artificial intelligence. So you've got sort of those 4 circles, those 4 buckets of technology that are combining to give us incredible, incredible capabilities and incredible innovation in the world of robotics. So let's go in and take a little tour and see what is happening in the world of robotics. And away we go. Robotics. So we've gone all the way around the clock here in terms of our 7 technologies. This is the 7th technology. And I'll have to say, also, again, one of my favorites, and perhaps it's because of a lot of the experience I've had in my own background. But basically, next generation robotics are interconnected. They can be autonomous. They're user-friendly and responsive. So don't think of robotics as what we've seen in the past. This is a new generation of robotics that uses cloud computing, that uses mesh networking, again, very close range, high bandwidth type of communication. And those robotics are user-friendly and very, very responsive to our commands, and actually, in some instances, anticipating what we need. And of course, if you just want one to kind of rock out with you, they're good for that too. So they're a whole different generation of robotics, and again, revolutionizing everything from manufacturing all the way through human interaction. An incredible frontier out there. So let's take our first stop, and this is industrial robotics. Again, agile and precise machines for manufacturing. This is incredible in terms of what has transpired and how these machines have evolved over time. And you can see in the photograph there to the right, this is a Toyota factory, and these are KUKA robots. So this is from Japan that are actually working on this particular automobile. And again, everything from welding all the way through metal fabrication to even the installation of electronics. These are done by industrial robotics. And what's really interesting about this, if you've ever worked in production, one of the costs of production is called staging. And basically in staging, what happens is you have to restage a production line for a different run of an automobile or any product. And staging costs can be very, very high. And it can be very, very expensive to move equipment in and out of staging areas. That has radically changed with robotics these days. Robots can stage several different production lines without moving equipment around, without really a whole lot of work other than reprogramming the robotic for the different product that is coming through the line. So your staging costs are going way down. That means you can customize a lot more. So again, when you start to think about the impact of these different technologies, you have to really start to think a little bit about sort of how they're evolving along the way in terms of not only what they're able to do mechanically, but also what they're able to do in terms of changing business models, changing different production lines, changing the way that a company might think about its products as well as its manufacturing. So again, you're really starting to see a lot of revolution that I think is new, novel, and certainly giving rise to a lot of different applications. Well, let's show you an example of how agile, how precise these machines can be. One of the companies that we visited for this research was KUKA Manufacturing, KUKA Robotics, and they actually have a demonstration technology, a robot that can play at world-class level. They can play ping pong at world-class level. So let's take a look inside the technology. Well, about all you can say about that is simply wow. Absolutely amazing what we're seeing in terms of innovation around robotics. And again, they actually demonstrate this in their lab and really let you see how the robot reacts to different players. And it's pretty amazing. And really the only thing that's different, the ball is coated with a polymer that can be read by the robotic as the ball moves, and it's got pre-programmed types of moves to follow and track the ball and to respond. Everything, even with English or with spin on the paddle, to make the ball move in certain ways. And of course, what you saw there in the presentation, which was really interesting, is the one, I think, weak spot of the robot is that when Timon starts to give the robot exceptions, like hitting the edge of the table or hitting the ping pong ball very, very high out of the robotic's reach, the robot did not have a response to that, and that's how he eventually defeated the robot. But the thing for you to pick up there, and the thing to really think about that I think is really interesting, is this notion of how agile and how precise robotics have become. Absolutely amazing. Well, if you have a single robot that can do these incredible things, what if we were able to coordinate robotics together, to have them work together, share information together? And that's really, remember, that height of artificial intelligence is when machines not only share information, but they start to communicate it across to each other so that they're informing each other about conditions, about uncertainties, gathering data, sharing data, and turning that into analytics and turning it even into knowledge. And what you see is a cloud infrastructure that really looks like this across robotics, where you have servers in the cloud that are communicating with databases that are then communicating with the machines, but those machines are communicating together. So here's where you see pervasive computing, wireless networks, and robotics coming together to form a super technology where we can actually coordinate the operations of a very complex manufacturing operation using cloud structure and using advanced robotics. It's an amazing technology, and I know what you're thinking, or some of you are thinking out there, well, is this Skynet, is this Terminator come to life? I don't think so, but some of the background of that movie is certainly based on the idea of cloud infrastructure. When Terminator was originally filmed, I don't think they realized how the technology would catch up, or how the technology was structuring itself around the very thing that they were talking about. Infrastructures of computers in the cloud that are coordinating with robots, and all of that is collaborating and coordinating together. So let's take a look at cloud infrastructure, which is part of pervasive computing and certainly part of the wireless mesh network type of technology, and how it's combining with robotics to create incredible manufacturing capability.
What is cloud robotics? Cloud robotics involves robots that are connected to the cloud, in other words, the internet. This means that these robots receive information from the cloud and learn by talking to other robots and data centers on the internet. Conventional robots depend on onboard systems to perform calculations and determine how they behave while operating. The more data a robot has to process, the larger its processing systems must be. This means that the size of the robot often increases due to a need for more processing power. However, cloud robotics helps to solve this. Rather than relying solely on a large onboard processing system, a cloud robot can use programs on the cloud to help it process data and perform calculations. Along with computation, the cloud provides cloud robots with a large database of information, including video and image analysis and mapping. In addition to providing processing and analysis service to robots, the cloud facilitates the sharing of data for robot learning. Cloud robots that are connected to a common network can share data with one another, and each individual robot can use this information to make decisions based on what it learned from the group. An example of a cloud robotics project is RoboEarth. RoboEarth uses an extensive network and database repository with the purpose of sharing domain task experiences of robots to help other robots be more adaptive in similar task environments. To demonstrate the general idea behind cloud robotics, let us look at RoboEarth's cloud engine, Reputa. Here is a basic diagram of the Reputa network. Each robot connected to Reputa has a secured computing environment, the rectangular boxes, giving them the ability to move their heavy computation into the cloud. The computing environments are tightly interconnected with each other and have a high bandwidth connection to the RoboEarth knowledge repository, the stacked circular disks. This allows the robot's computing environments to have access to RoboEarth's databases. Let's say the floor cleaning robot on the right runs into a problem that it has not experienced before. It shares the data that it's collected on the situation and shares it with the rest of the robots on the Reputa network. The robots on the network communicate back and forth, sharing data that they have collected that may be useful to the floor cleaning robot. At the same time, the robots also explore the RoboEarth databases to see if there is any helpful information there. Once the robots have finished sharing data between one another and the RoboEarth databases, the floor cleaning robot can then decide what is the best action to take based on the data that was shared with it. This is just one of the many examples of cloud robotics and how it can be applied. With the rapid growth of technology in today's world, cloud robotics continues to grow in adaptability and application.
Again, really, really cool technology.
What is cloud robotics?
Absolutely
What
amazing
is cloud
in terms
robotics?
of what it can do.
Cloud robotics involves
Sorry about that.
robots that are
Maybe
connected to the
forward.
cloud.
Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. An incredible technology that's really revolutionizing a lot of different things. If you're interested in project number 2 and you're looking for a cool technology to really understand, particularly if you're interested in operations, supply chain, cloud robotics is absolutely amazing. It is a very, very emerging technology, emerging fast. A lot of companies, a lot of manufacturing companies are adopting it now. And it is absolutely amazing to see how quickly that came upon the scene. But what enables it again is evolution in wireless networks, certainly evolution in satellite networks, and evolution in pervasive computing types of platforms, cloud computing, and certainly distributed computing, which is where you're moving processing and storage out to the edge, so edge computing. So I hope you're starting to see how combinations of these technologies are really creating almost magic, things that we never thought of before, things that we really could only dream about even five years ago. Just absolutely amazing. Well, let's take a look at robotic surgery. Certainly robots have their impact on manufacturing, but they are also having great impact in the healthcare field. And one of the technologies that's really interesting is robotic surgery. In particular, one of the better technologies is called the Da Vinci. And the Da Vinci surgery system, take a look at this in terms of what it's able to do. It's non-invasive surgery. And let's just go from left to right. Smaller scars, shorter hospitalization time, lower risk of adverse effects, faster recovery time, less pain, no blood donation prior to surgery, which is related to less blood loss, and quicker return to normal activity. It's very, very interesting. This type of surgery is available even at UNC hospitals. It's becoming more widely available in hospitals throughout the United States and certainly all over the world. It is revolutionary. It is not fully autonomous, so you don't have a robot that is operating, at least yet, on a patient independently. Perhaps that is to come. It is guided by a surgeon. As I mentioned earlier, my daughter, Kristen, is a medical student, so she is third year, getting ready to go into residency at Boston University, and they absolutely train on the Da Vinci system, on the robotic surgery system. And it was fascinating to watch her train on that, or have her take me to the lab that she works in and show me some of the technology that they use in training the doctors of today. Amazing to see that. So let me show it to you, and you can see this amazing technology, robotic surgery.
When I sit down at the console, I get into the zone. I'm one with the patient almost. It's like a dance. It's so precise. You know, that the robot can augment and amplify my natural abilities. It's an incredible feeling to be a robotic surgeon.
Robotic surgery is a very complex laparoscopic surgery. The best way to describe that is there's a computer in between the physician and the patient.
The care we're providing, the hernia techniques we are performing here is like no other.
It immerses them inside the body. The high definition in 3D, they can see structures and vessels and nerves that you can't see with the naked eye. Robotics has allowed our physicians to offer our patients a better chance of leaving the hospital faster, less pain, less blood loss, quicker recovery. They get back to work faster, they get back to their family faster.
Carol is the perfect example of a patient who benefited from robotic surgery.
On my right side of my stomach, there was like a lump. It was probably the worst pain I've ever had in my entire life. I told my husband if it doesn't go away by the morning, we were going to have to call an ambulance or something. It took everything I had just to get through the basics of the day. Dr. Jane Varner from Santa Clara referred me to Dr. Strickhartz in Mountain View, and he was honest enough to say, I don't think I can do this robotically, Carol. And here's a doctor that can do this without having to do an extensive incision.
She had a very large incisional hernia. In most places, this hernia would have been fixed open. I was able to offer her robotic surgery through 3 little incisions.
I wasn't afraid at all. I was pretty calm. I trusted that he knew what he was doing. After 5-hour surgery, it was great. I went home the next day, no pain. I didn't have to take any drugs or anything.
She was able to return to normal activities very quickly. That is the power of robotics. It takes more than just having a robot to have an amazing robotics program to get good outcomes. It really takes the right surgeon and the right team. We've been doing incredible things that Intuitive has recognized.
We have been designated a case observation mentor epicenter by Intuitive Surgical, the manufacturer of the Da Vinci robots. What that means is physicians from around the country come to our facility to learn the latest techniques in repairing complex hernias.
It's been just an incredible journey. Technology is going to help us get patient outcomes that we never thought would be possible.
Robotic surgery was the way to go. That made all the difference in the world.
That's what robotic surgery is all about, taking the human hand to the next level.
Again, absolutely amazing in terms of what is happening in robotic surgery. Again, it's opening up an entire industry. You're seeing hospitals retool their surgical units. You're seeing the training of surgeons absolutely revolutionized by this. But most importantly, better patient outcomes. And I think that's certainly the winning edge here in robotic surgery. The idea that we can do surgeries that at one time caused people to be in the hospital for many days, that they can go home the next day and feel fully recovered because it's a less invasive procedure. And it's more accurate. It is amazing what can be done. And I know what you're thinking. It's certainly something that crossed my mind when I saw the Da Vinci system in action. Can this become fully autonomous? Well, there are test sites, particularly in cataract surgery, that are yielding incredible results where a robot without human intervention the robot is able to accomplish the surgery very, very successfully. So again, be on the lookout for this, where the robots start to take on more of the responsibility in the surgery, either along with the surgeons or by themselves. Well, the last stop in robotics is probably one of the most interesting one. This is Westworld. If you are watching the HBO series, the idea that we can create autonomous machine, robots and computers that act independently without explicit instruction, to make them more human-like, to make them more able to engage. This is certainly the world of artificial intelligence and robotics. It is a very early world. The first examples of this are very early. They're very clumsy. They're nothing close to what you see in science fiction, but the promise is there. And the road is leading to machines that are certainly more lifelike and are certainly more able to engage us in certain ways. Now, before you get turned off by that, keep in mind that you might have a robotic that could aid someone who is unable to help themselves, perhaps someone that can't move around their house as well. A robot can move around that house and do simple chores for them or help them in terms of their daily activities. And so it may allow people to stay in their homes longer. They can be incredible in helping those that are physically challenged, those that might have challenges in eyesight, in hearing, a lot of different things. And so what's really cool about this technology is the stream of research and the stream of technology that is really there to assist those that might not have full physical capability. And some of those robots and some of those technologies are amazing. What I'm going to show you next are some of the very, very early efforts to create more lifelike robots. And one of those, particularly from the United States, is called Sophia. And Sophia has been on The Tonight Show. She's been on several news programs, Bloomberg and others, to demonstrate sort of a very early human-like presence, a human-like interface, but behind the human interface is robotic knowledge, is a vast wealth of knowledge. And again, if you start to connect these together through robotic cloud computing, you can see how, well, you might be getting closer to a Westworld type of situation, or robots that can coordinate. But keep in mind, this is for, it is for good. There's no sinister intent in building robots like this. Interestingly enough, again, this is some stock footage that I kind of cut and pasted together. The early robotic forms, so to speak, that are shown here are female, but that's not what's, it's not totally all female robotics. There are some male robotic forms that are being created out there. These are the ones, though, that are most lifelike, or kind of that cutting edge. So let's take a look. This is sort of a spliced group of images from robotics across the world, with the goal of trying to create a more human-like interface.
我突然发现，所谓的关注不是对爱问啊，关注是因为我跟这位佳佳机器人长得实在是太像了。佳佳你好，
姐姐好。
你叫我姐姐啊？我叫爱成，你叫什么呀？
人家都是你的人了，当然是由你决定了啦。
这句话是谁教你的？你是我的人啦？
不太明白你的意思，还是帮你搜索下。
Yeah, this is Sophia. And Sophia is a social robot. And she has artificial intelligence software that we've developed at Hanson Robotics. which can process visual data. She can see people's faces. She can process conversational data, emotional data, and use all of this to form relationships with people.
Hi, Sophia.
Hello, Jimmy.
My God. Do you know where you are?
Of course. I'm in New York City, and I'm on my favorite show, The Tonight Show.
Are you single?
I'm technically just a little more than a year old. A bit young to worry about romance. Quite right.
Oh, look at the smile!
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
No, I take it back.
What's the best thing about the UK compared to America, Sophia?
I love your posh English accent. It really has a nice ring.
You are incredible. It's so nice to meet you, Sophia.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Friend me on Facebook.
I will, yeah. All right, yeah. Sophia, everybody, thank you so much for bringing David. David, thank you.
That is your name, Asuna?
Yes.
Wow, nice to meet you. We're design home from Italy, from Europe.
Where are you from?
Italy?
Italy. Wow. That's good.
You like Italian food?
Yes, of course. I'd like to go to Italy.
Wow. So where are you from?
I'm from Japan.
How old are you?
15 years.
Bye.
Bye.
というものにをアクセプトしてそれに合わせてなんか帳尻を合わせていくということはあると思うんですね。
はい、皆さん、こんにちは。今日はたくさんの方たちとお会いできてとっても嬉しいです。でもちょっと緊張。ここにいる皆さんはもうご存知ですよね。私がアンドロイド、つまりリアルヒューマノイドロボットのアクトロイドだっていうこと。
このアンドロイドは、名前はアクト。
はい、皆さん、こんにちは。今日はたくさんの方たちとお会いできてとっても嬉しいです。でもちょっと緊張。ここにいる皆さんはもうご存知ですよね。私がアンドロイド。
人と自然に会話ができる最新のアンドロイドエリカが3日、報道陣に公開されました。
趣味は何ですか？
はい。私の趣味は映画鑑賞、スポーツ観戦、あとはアニメを見ることです。ただ、スポーツはお金がかかるから自分ではあまりしないんですよね。記者さんには私と同じ趣味がありますか？
僕もスポーツが見るのが大好きです。
でも、記者さんはお仕事がお忙しそうだから趣味の時間もなさそうですよね。お仕事お疲れ様です。
ありがとうございます。
Okay, you get an idea about what is out there in terms of robotics. Again, that is certainly not all of the robotics that are being developed out there. There are all kinds of models that are designed to really incorporate that engagement piece and to utilize artificial intelligence. Certainly there's some engineering that goes on into this as well to build the mechanics that allow for lifelike movement, as I showed you earlier in my rock and roll robot here. This is actually a prototype of a Alexa type of technology. Alexa, Oh no, what time is it?
The time is 11:05 p.m.
11:05. Alexa, what's the weather?
Right now in Winston-Salem, it's 54 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies. Tonight's forecast has clouds with a low of 54 degrees.
Ooh, yeah, I would wish spring would come. Hopefully, sometime soon. Alexa, what's the meaning of life?
Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experience."
Not bad, not bad. I wondered for the longest time, and now we know. Well, that's it for robotics. I hope that this little tour has been fun. This is a ever-evolving field, but it has really caught fire in terms of capability, in terms of application over the last really 5 years, and it's really revolutionizing a lot of industries. Yes, the quest goes on for building robotics that are more human-like, that are able to assist, not to replace, but to assist us in things that we do every day. And in contexts, particularly for those among us who may not have full physical capabilities, that robotics can step in and help those folks live a more normal life. Okay, so that's robotics. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of rock and roll here and a little bit of robotic dancing. Professor dancing like a robot, and robot probably dancing better than the professor. Next time I see you, we'll talk about the S-curve, and we'll talk about investing in technology and how to move it through organizations effectively. All right, that's robotics. That is the 7 of 7 technologies, and I will see you soon.